Alrighty, the level 98 ranged magical DPS Tuliyollal role quest is given to us by Tepeke in her normal spot in Yedlamod. It is called Behind the Helm. Here we go. It seems Virazon has been laying low since our last encounter. I'm sad to say, however, that my investigations have uncovered little, but still there's cause to celebrate, for I've received a letter from my mother with good tidings. My father has finally awakened after the grievous wound dealt to him by Virazon. He's well enough to travel to Tuliyollal, in fact, and may have already arrived. I look a little bit... Why shocked? Okay. Surprised would have been nice, but whatever. I couldn't see my face, but the character took a half step back. It looked like you're like, whoa. Of course, I'd love nothing more than to go to him, but I pledged not to return until I had the perch of the apex in hand. Besides, I'm soon to depart with the Radiant Host to try and sniff out Virazon's whereabouts before he acts out of desperation. That's why I ask that you go in my stead. As the treasure's guardian, no one living is more knowledgeable about its history than he. If you share with him all that's transpired since we began our search, he may be able to point out something that we've missed. I know it's a lot to ask, Mercy, but the safety of Thavner depends on it. And please, give my family my regards. My mother should be able to tell you where in Tuliyollal my father is staying. Once you've finished, let us meet in the Aetheryte Plaza at Rodzit Han to share what we've learned. Pat my chest. Probably give her the I got this face as well. Tuliyollal is still my return. It comes in handy. Not as frequently as you might think, but... yeah. I mean, more frequently now that all of my crafters are in the 90s. Ooh, I don't even know. Oh, Weaver hit 99. That's crazy. Okay. I think I did that this morning. I was making Ronique Surge, I think. Anyway, where are you? I'll go to the Bayside Bevy to get a little bit closer before running. Jump through the fountain and over the rope fence. Back to Ixbaliev TA to talk to Sui. Again, Tom Sam Uuhe, the mom of Tepeke. In the perch where we found her the first time, leaning against a pillar. Oh, if it isn't Mercy. But I don't see Tepeke with you. Did you come alone? Trying to make her voice like Tepeke's, but kind of more airy. I'm glad to hear my letter arrived safely, and that Tepeke seems to be as tenacious as ever in her search. Her father Netse has already arrived here in Tuliyollal, but has barely stayed in one place since. He seems desperate to help Tepeke from a distance in whatever way he can. He told me he was traveling to the... oh gosh. Paul Y-A-R-I-Y... sorry. Yeah, I-Y. Not often I say those letters back to back, I guess. O-A Nancy, A-A Nancy. Piarionen Plain, in search of information he assured me was quite vital. If you wish to speak with him, he'll doubtless be in the area. Okay. We'll pay the $3.59 to teleport. Alright. I probably could have chosen one that's a tiny bit closer. But it really would only be a tiny bit. Once again, we are kneeling on the back of this bird rather than sitting. Is it because I'm wearing a skirt? Do your pants matter for how you're sitting? Nope, never mind. Paladin is not wearing skirt. Paladins still sit weird. Or kneel weird, I guess. So yeah, we're near a lake. We have a dark purple circle where Netse is being accosted by kind of like an owl monster with a staff. Let's get my paintings up. Otsohiwete is what the owl's name is. And it's down. Here's Netse, one hand down, one knee down, aiding him. Cutscene. Thank you, traveler. I overextended myself. I but recently recovered from a severe injury and was a fool to confront such a beast alone. Try to make his voice somewhat like Tepeke's too. So, you're the Mercy I've heard so much about. I owe you many thanks for all you've done to recover the perch of the apex. He's got some interesting kind of like silverish wing painting under his right eye. Kind of a moon painting a little bit above where the bridge of the nose, so like lower middle forehead, and then I think moon paint or wing painting on the under the other eye, but I can't see it because his like whitish, barely kind of purplish tinted hair is covering from where the left eye ends on the outside, all the way to the like ear and beyond. Kind of tattered-ish black cape kind of thing around his shoulders and biceps, arms wrapped in belts for some reason, and there's also some white, actually I think it's just white and so impractical, but white and brown belts wrapped around both of his arms, and then kind of like a black tunic kind of thing. So, you're the Mercy I've heard so much about. I owe you many thanks for all you've done to recover the perch of the apex. News of your progress in Thavner is most heartening. Despite my position as its guardian, I never knew it could rain down stones from the heavens. Since arriving in Tuliyollal, I've done what I can to shed light upon the Tural Vidral sealed within the treasure. I'm like, eh? After the nations of Tural were unified, some left our village to build new homes in the city. I've sought them out to see if they know anything of use. Unfortunately, none could offer insight into the treasure's magics, but one of them told me that owls lurked around this place. And since the Tural Vidral sealed within the perch of the apex was once an owl, it seemed logical to pursue such a quarry. I thought perhaps I could glean something about the ancient beast from their behavior, like as not some fundamental aspects remain the same even after transformation. But having heard your account, there is one fundamental difference that stands out. As far as I'm aware, no owl native to these lands possesses the ability to hurl rocks, large or otherwise. No doubt the Tural Vidral gained this power following its metamorphosis. He thinks on it. There is not a wing painted underneath the left eye. It kind of just a silvery line that's jagged at the end. I do believe, however, that it would retain an owl's core instincts, that one you fought didn't strike unprovoked. Instead, it watched me from afar with fear in its eyes. While this is normal behavior for most animals, I was surprised by how suddenly it descended upon me the moment I started approaching. My options are: it sensed danger and attacked preemptively. Or, maybe owls prefer to fight rather than run. It sensed danger and attacked preemptively? I'm going to turn it into a question. I had the same thought. The owl sensed a threat and chose to confront it rather than run from it, and this same impulse may have driven the Tural Vidral. Indeed, that correlates with something I heard from one of my countrymen who had relocated to Tuliyollal. He spoke of a continuation to the tales passed down from the elders. No hunter's arrow could fell the apex. It was struck down in a storm of its own wrath, made wild by a heart affright. Thus was it sealed away at last. Now, judging from the owl's behavior, I can theorize that the treasure is activated when its bearer senses danger, and according to the story, this power can easily get out of hand if its bearer is panicked. Of course, this theory must be tested first. Virazan will certainly use the perch of the apex again. When he does, I ask that you and Tepeke pay special attention to the circumstances leading to its activation. I give him a nod. You have my thanks. Loath though I am to admit it, I have yet to recover from my long convalescence, and I would only be a burden to you. I wish I could aid my daughter another way, but you more than make up for my absence. Please lend her every bit of knowledge you have, Mercy. I pray that my daughter will soon return home, treasure in hand. I pray that my daughter will soon return home. Okay. I was like, I pray that my daughter's going to get in trouble. Like, okay, but no. It was a different inflection and meaning and blah, blah, blah. Now we will teleport. We're not going to pay 2008 to go to Razathan. By the way, if you don't have free tickets, I am pretty sure you can get there via airship from any of the 3 starter cities. And I think probably Ishgard, for that matter. Maybe. But these Aetheryte tickets are amazing. Blue Mage is awesome. Mercy, you came just in time. Virazan has shown his face in Razathan. You can tell me about your journey to Tuliyollal later. For now, come with me. We have a cutscene. It looks like a bunch of youth and other people, so just various people, are gathering on this stone floor, and Virazan, without his mask, is atop like a few steps, kind of holding court now. Are you surprised? Thanks to the sage counsel of a fellow hero, I have decided to doff my mask. Although my face may be unfamiliar, I believe you know who I am. Spreads his arms wide. I was once the Justicar, but now you may call me Virazan. I am Thavner's protector, its savior, its hero. You may have heard salacious rumors that I have orchestrated the very attacks which I so valiantly drive back, that I was behind the catastrophe at the Uznair canals. I'm here to assure you that those are false aspirations all, cast by those who are envious of their betters. I give my life for this fair city and its people, and I would give more still if I could. Some Radiants are like, well, what should we do? It might be best to lock him up before this gets out of hand. Yolan crosses his arms and... wait, we don't want him raining down rocks with all these bystanders around. For now, keep a careful eye on him. All I ask for you is your respect, your adoration, a dream held by all but realized only by the few. And I would be one of those few. I have proven myself worthy of being your savior, and now, with an entire city watching with bated breath, I shall declare my intent to reach even higher. He like eyes down, head down for a second, hand to chest. Yes, for I can protect you all the better as your ruler. I shall retire the mantle of hero and take up the crown as the king of Razathan. Fist raised in the air. Everybody just kind of looking at him. Is that a crossbow rather than a bow? It's a really wide crossbow. One of the citizens, a Hanish citizen, says, "The bastard's gone mad. I wield power unassailable. With me on your throne, you would never again have cause to fear. All would live in peace. All would shower me with love. They would shout it to the heavens, and from that love would spring a new Razathan, a greater Razathan." Enough of your lies, Virazan. The power you wield protects none but yourself. To everyone else, it brings only ruin, says Tepeke. Of course, the road to greatness is ever paved with necessary sacrifices. Yet so long as your ruler lives, Razathan shall know naught but prosperity. Arms crossed, some shrugs, some shaking of the heads no. So I'm like, what are you talking about? You think you're better than Master Vitra? He bore the city and its people on his back while you look fit to collapse under the weight of your own armor. You're no leader. You're a damned joke, says the Hanish dude. He spreads his arms wide again. Does this man speak for you all? Is there not one among you who would follow me into a brighter future? But I am nothing if not magnanimous. Until you find the wisdom to accept me as ruler, I shall continue to stand vigilant as your eternal shield. Virazan's father says, "Stop this, Virazan. You're only making it worse for yourself." He turns to the man, accompanied by 3 of the Radiant. "Can't you see you've become a laughingstock? Give up this facade and answer for your sins. Do so now, and the Radiant host may yet grant you mercy." Virazon crosses his arms. My sins? Are you not the one poisoning the people against me? Do your worst, I dare you. I will only make me more powerful. I know not what is in your heart, but please, end this madness. End it, and return to me, my son. He starts to walk toward the young man on the stage, whose lips curl up in a smile and then a frown, and that energy radiates from him again. Don't get any closer, says Tepeke, reaching out to the dad. You two? Why are you... And rock. A big boulder lands like right in front of his dad, and then several more rain down around Virazon, not striking anybody, luckily. Virazon's father is on the ground. What? Like he has been knocked back from the boulder. Don't! If we fight here, there's no telling how many innocents will be wounded, says one of the Radiants, when the others kind of draw their weapons and shields and stuff. Virazon looks around at the damage he's caused so far. Pathetic as ever. I tire of this farce. I have declared my intent to become king of Rodzit-Han. As for you two, this is no place for a battle between heroes. We shall meet again, mark my words, and then we shall decide who is the mightier. He walks between some boulders. Tepeke baring her teeth and kind of almost getting up in his face, but I let her pass. Or like I hold her back a little bit. We don't want casualties from bystanders. My options are we can't risk a confrontation in the city, or we must focus on restoring order. We can't risk a confrontation in the city. She, thinks on that for a second. Nods. You're right, of course. As much as I hate to see Virazon walk free, we've yet to ascertain the extent of his power. For now, we must bide our time. I noticed that despite all his proclaimed love for its people, he didn't even look back at them as he retreated. Perhaps he couldn't bear to look them in the eyes, or one of them, at least. His dad is still on his butt, staring at the boulder that almost killed him. Eyes wide. Mouth was agape, closed now. Some of the Radiant are attending to him, probably the ones that escorted him in. Camera pans up past the colorful stone buildings to the night sky with the moon. Cutscene over. Cutscene over, baby. We talked to Virazon's father to continue. That was a disaster. Virazon is truly lost. At the very least, he's committed himself to fomenting unrest within Rodzit-Han. And although he's my son, I cannot condone his actions. His words are grand but empty, and that ridiculous armor is nothing more than gaudy decoration. He is truly the embodiment of false heroism. What's more, this latest debacle has surely made him a criminal in the eyes of the Radiant host. All I can do now is beg them to grant my son some small degree of clemency. Before you go, may I ask you something? After Virazon called down the rocks, did you see his expression? I thought it peculiar, but I'm curious as to what his father saw in that face. Aye, it was a familiar look. When I used to scold him for losing himself in make-believe, he would get that same cast in his eyes. A look of petulant rage, as if he resented me for pulling him out of his reverie and into harsh reality. He hasn't changed. Apologies, but I must go. He leaves and disappears. Just as I thought, even clad in his shining armor, he can't bear to be told no, and now his childish games have taken a malevolent turn. But for now, we should return to Yedlamad. I still have yet to hear what you learned in Tuliyollal after all. Excuse me, sorry. 2:15 to teleport to Yedlamad. And then we go to the east to talk to Tepeke to finish this quest. I don't think I'm going to be able to do the next one right away because I'm not 100. We'll see. Cutscene, speaking with her. Now that we have some room to breathe, I'd like to hear about your journey to Tyrol. Did my father have anything to share? I give her everything. She ponders it, arms crossed. I'm heartened to know he's well enough to go chasing after owls and such, though I wish he'd take more care. Thank you for saving him and for bringing me his theory concerning the treasure. If it really is triggered by a sense of impending danger, that might explain why Virazon had trouble using it the first time. He wasn't truly afraid of that small fungi until it was almost upon him. It also explains how he can wield the Apex's powers despite having no training in magics. It responds to emotion, not intent. So much is falling into place. He goaded the Radiant into apprehending him because he knew the threat would be answered. You saw how nonchalantly he quit that plaza, almost as if defying someone to stop him. Virazon truly believes himself to be untouchable. I think his words and deeds align with the theory well enough. As for that curious fragment of a story... I cocked my head at that. It seemed to imply that the Tural Vidral lost control in a panic. Perhaps its strength grows in proportion to the danger it senses, and when that danger is too great, well... You saw what happened at the Uznair canals and Radzat Han. You were present both times, as were others who wished Virazon ill, and both times we saw stones much larger than we've seen before. Now I understand why he's so eager to face you. An opponent of your caliber will strike fear into Virazon's very core, and that fear will summon a power greater than any he's ever known. Power enough to bring a hero to her knees. Or so he thinks, but we know better. We'll use that arrogance to our advantage, and bring him crashing down to earth. Although we may have to contend with falling rocks for a time, in a straight fight he'll be outmatched. So we strike fast and we strike hard, until that fancy armor is nothing more than mangled steel. Although you may prefer to put your foes to sleep and whatnot, we know he has an arsenal of alchemical concoctions at his disposal. That's why I suggest a bit of good old-fashioned brute force. While you unleash your most fearsome destructive spells, I'll be your shield. Don't even think of holding back. I fist in palm, determined face. I look forward to fighting by your side. Now we simply have to find a suitable arena. I shall consult the Radiant host as to the location. Once that's decided, we'll confront Virazon for the final time. Sorry. 1,102,080 experience points, 2,000 gil, a roast Ronique with spell speed, direct hit, vitality. Ooh. Wait. I'm not 100. Ooh, but I can turn... No, I don't want to turn it in on... It wouldn't matter, would it? Once you're 100, you can't... You know what? That's a good point. I'm not going to be able to get experience points once I'm a 100 no matter. Anyway, so... Yeah, okay. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. You watch me. Anyway, Tepeke and I thank you for watching. We hope you've enjoyed. I mean, I can turn it in on Black Mage or Red Mage, so I won't have to wait to turn it in and do 2 recordings. Yeah, we thank you for watching. We do so hope you've enjoyed. Tepeke, once again, I'm gonna stand in you. Oh no. Oh, her eyes follow me. I'm puppeting her. Hand in her butt. Oops. Anyway, Tepeke and I stand shoulder to shoulder, thanking you for watching. We hope you've enjoyed. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.